you guys. Welcome to another episode of Take a Stand. I'm Tracy Wilson, your host, and today I am super blessed to have my very good friend, amazing business strategist, marketing strategist, and business coach, KACI Brown, with me today. Such a pleasure to have her here. I'm going to tell you guys, it's been a little while since KACI and I have caught up, so you might hear us having a bit of a chat as we continue through the Take a Stand show today. As you guys know, the Take a Stand show is all about highlighting women who are inspirational, motivational, and have really, I suppose, heartfelt stories of how they've overcome adversity in their life. And I can tell you that I have, being a friend of KACI's and seeing what's happened with her over the last few years, she is truly an inspiration in everything that she does, the way that she holds herself, the way that she manages her way through some really pretty difficult, situations, and she always comes out on top. She always shows up as the very best version of herself for herself, her family, and those that are around her. So I want her to know how much I appreciate her, how much I appreciate her being the very first guest on the Take a Stand show. So welcome, Cass.
Thank you so much, Tracy. The feeling is 1,000,000% mutual. I appreciate everything that you do and am absolutely inspired by everything that you create and pave the way for other women. So thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. Well, hey, look, let's have a bit of a chat today, because as for some of you guys that are watching for the very first time, I want to tell you, if you didn't watch the Take a Stand show number 1 or number 2, tell you a little bit about this particular show. So this all came off the back of a book that a very good friend of mine, Vicky Helm, and myself co-authored, called The She Myth. And as I've been interviewing, as we launched that book, which has gone to number 1, which we are so stoked about, and excuse some of my Australian colloquialisms, I will probably use a few of those and you'll wonder, what the heck is she talking about? But as you start watching, you'll get to know me. So we were pretty stoked with us hitting that, that number 1 status. And what we did was we started interviewing inspiring women, everyday women who are doing amazing things. And we started to see some patterns. So that particular show is what we do inside of a book launch group called the She Myth Book Launch. And then as a result of that, it was apparent that the very short segments that I had these women on, the stories that they were telling were just so inspiring and so motivational that it really warranted me having a much bigger platform and a longer style show for them to share these stories. Now, I chose KACI to be the very first person on the show because I've been watching her journey. I've come to know her and love her over the last few years. And I really do see her as somebody, and you'll actually see KACI inside of the book. So if you buy the book, you decide to buy the She Myth book, you'll actually see KACI's got an endorsement inside of that. So she was one of the first to actually read the She Myth book and provide us with her feedback. So as a result of that, and me watching her and really knowing that she is a true champion in everything that she does, there wasn't any better person that I could think of to bring KACI, to bring onto the show for the very first one. And I want to talk through her journey, where she's been and what it is that she's doing now. And in particular, what she's doing to really, what she did to start standing up, and what she's doing now to stand firm on her beliefs, and what she's actually doing to start standing out. So let's start there, Cass. Tell us a little bit about your background and how you've even come to be where you are today.
Yeah. Oh, holy smokes. So my background goes all the way back. Like, I was raised by an entrepreneur. My mom had a marketing agency where we helped launch grand openings for Walmart, Publix, all sorts of things. And so I grew up in the marketing world, answering phones at 9. My first real job was at 12 years old because I was super tall. So no one really knew how old I was, as Sylvester the cat. And things just went on from there. I was the traditional path to college and corporate America. I worked for General Mills when I was 19. I got my MBA by the time most people had their traditional 4-year college degree, and I was on the fast track. Like I saw this like as my opportunity to corporate America, climb the ladder, and then live happily ever after and retire. And as I grew and spent more time in corporate America, I quickly realized like I was not going to fit that mold. I wasn't going to treat people the way that I was seeing people being treated. I was very much about individual responsibility, empowerment, and encouraging growth, like just internal growth as well as company growth. And it became really, really apparent to me that it was one-sided. It was really just like what's best for the company doesn't necessarily mean it's what's best for me and my family and everything else. So I jumped ship and quit my job before we had any kids. So, before I knew any better, like I was just like, peace out. I can't do this. And I went back to my mom's company as operations manager. I think I was around 22 at the time, which was still really young within her space, and helped her scale the company, sell it, and retire, which then left me again at a crossroads to, okay, now what? And I started my own photography business because at that point I got to pursue art. I didn't have the guts to go to school for photography, but it was always a passion. So I was able to blend business and marketing, and the business grew really, really fast. And we started having a family and just juggling everything. And I was on the verge of realizing like, I can't scale 52 weeks a year. Right. So my little dream in my bubble was starting to bust. And then the whole world turned upside down when my husband was diagnosed with a brain tumor. And we had just moved. Like this was like the perfect storm. We had just relocated from Florida to Georgia. So I was in that midst of, do I restart and rebuild my photography network or not? Going over that can't scale 52 Saturdays. And then at 30 years old, he's diagnosed with a brain tumor, which is literally like, you can't breathe, right? Like it's like when you were in elementary and you fell off the monkey bars or something, it's like everything's black, you can't breathe, and like nothing makes sense. So, but it did give us clarity on what we really wanted out of life, what our priorities were going to be. So I took off for 5 years. And that was hard. As a high achiever, after, growing and scaling my mom's business, after growing and starting to scale my photography business. But we repositioned our priorities with what we really found and defined as successful in life. And it was time with our children, time with each other, and being 100% in control of what we did with our time in our lives, because that was one of the things that we realized the most, that time was irreplaceable. We weren't promised anything. And at that point, it was like, why spend my time doing anything that I wasn't extremely passionate about and that didn't bring joy and purpose to our family? So at that point, I did take 5 years off to focus on the family. But after that, I was like, I just told my husband, I feel like a bigger calling. I feel like God didn't make me just for this. So I started kind of dabbling back into marketing, consulting, social media, and really sort of like doing my best to close the gap, because 5 years away from social media, like you look how much it changes in 6 months. So it was drastically different. So I was catching up. I was diving into webinars. I got into a couple groups. Thank goodness I came across the path of Lindsay Padilla and Emily Hirsch, and I joined their funnel playground group. And I didn't know what the heck a funnel was, but I was like, I need to learn. And that brought me into the world of ClickFunnels and Russell Brunson. At that point, I had my first client and had taken them from barely making 6 figures to over $1 million in 18 months. And that's when I had my aha, where I was like, I can do this. I have the skill set. This is a pattern. I know I can repeat it. I just need to enhance not only my network, but like my capacity for growth. And so I joined the 2 Comma Club coaching program. The second year, they invited me to be a coach, which honestly, like that title was never in my vocabulary. I actually launched a campaign to remove it from my email address, but everybody told me no. So I embraced it, and here I am with you today because I just kept following that path and growing and serving and leaning in to teach people to be intentional with their time and with their passions and their talents. And we started Amplify My Impact. It was I launched the podcast, the coaching program. We started hosting a free call that's been going for 3 years now. And it's just one of those things where it's like, I just had this message inside me and I had to be that gateway for other people. Like, it wasn't always comfortable. Like, when it comes to publishing and interviews and things like that, like I really didn't want to. I didn't want to be out in front. I was very comfortable behind the camera, especially as a photographer and the artist, and like just capturing someone else's story and sort of like being that narrator of someone else and that interpreter of their success. I'm very much a champion. So that was the probably one of the biggest struggles, was getting out in front to be that beacon, to let people know, like, there's a different way. You don't have to work 80 to 100 hours a week. You don't have to not absolutely 100% love what you do. And you can get paid for it and get paid well.
Here. I can say to that. I mean, Cass, I want to give you a great big hug because, I know that what you've been through has been, really challenging and hard for anybody to have to go through. But, the interesting thing is that, and I think this is one of the things that I really want to help people with, because often we don't get to the point of really going, hang on a minute.
Mm-hmm.
I want to do something different until something drastic happens. It's usually, and we talk about this a lot, even in the book. It's like you can be very intentional with what it is that you want to do, and you go and you create something that you want. And often we don't do that until it's almost forced upon us. We're left with no other choice. So I know with you, it was a huge thing that happened that then was like, gave you the moment of just stop, just wait a minute. What's really reassessing what is really important to me. And I really want, I suppose, one of the messages that I want people to take away from what you've talked about here. So I want them to really think about that today and not wait for that kind of moment of, oh crap, gosh, we're not promised time. How do I right now to be living the best life that I possibly can be living? How can I stand up for what it is that I really believe in, and then stand firm on that, and then start to stand out, in that space? So that is one of the messages, boy, I want to get across so loud and clear for people to kind of go, today is the day. If you've got something burning inside of you that says, hey, I want to do something different, how can we, what can we do today that could help them make a decision to actually go and be confident enough to make that change now? Like, what piece of advice would you give somebody who was in that situation that wasn't faced with it's a now or never type situation, but it's I've got something burning inside me and I want to do something different?
Yeah, I would say just realize that you 100% have the power of choosing that. Like, you don't have to wait for someone else to give you permission or say that you've earned it, or finally that you've put enough time or effort, or like we grow up thinking that we have to work so hard for everything to gain acknowledgement, or for someone to tap us on the shoulder and say, you know what, you've done a good job. You deserve to go to this next level. I think that was the hardest thing, to realize that no one's going to tell you that. Like, you have to become your best champion. And usually the inner voice that we have is the one that's keeping us stuck. And so I would just say, like, if you've got a fire in your soul, like, what's the one thing that you can do today? What's the one action step that you can do? And usually it's just deciding that it's going to be a reality to make it happen. And I share my story because so many times, like, we think that we're going to be able to just hard in life and physically and mentally, like, and trade dollars for hours. And then when we're old and retired, we'll have enough money to travel at our leisure. Well, look at COVID-19. Like, nobody's traveling right now. Right. And with Adam's surgery, he there was complications. So he has a bit of a physical difficulty on his left side, similar to what a stroke victim would. Like, so if we're going to do it, we got to do it now. Like, I think that's the biggest thing, is just to realize, like, if you have a fire, there is no one else that's going to tell you except yourself. So I would, like, look in the mirror and be honest about the life that you want, how you're going to make it happen, and start making steps to do that today. And if it means, changing things in your life, changing people in your life, changing, your own introspect, like, what do you have to invest in? Like, is it time? Is it money? Is it skills? Don't wait. Like, don't be like, one day I'll take that class. One day I'll launch this product, or one day I'll try my hand at this. Like, why are you waiting?
I could not agree with you more. And I mean, I'm thinking about my own sort of personal situation now, even with my parents, who did exactly what you were talking about, right? So they worked really hard. They were going to do all of these things one day when I retire. Well, before retirement, my dad had a stroke, and is now not able to travel. He can't move the right hand side of his body. So that was completely taken off the table in one instance. One day changed everything. And the same with my mum. Now just before Christmas, she's been diagnosed with cancer. Not going to happen. So I echo that same sentiment that you have just said. Today is the day. Make the decision today to do the things that you want to do. And I talk about this on my other show, Unlocked. It's like, live your life in such a way that you are unlocked. If you have to travel, if you're doing a show like this and you're traveling and you're in a motel room, take the show with you. Still go, still travel, do the things that you want to do, and just make it work. But don't wait, because it reminds me of that song, and I think it was Megan Trainor and John Legend. We're not promised tomorrow. We don't know that. So you just got to get on with it and get it done today. So in terms of, before we jumped on here, Cass, we were talking about even in sort of business. You start out in the business space and you sort of kind of wobbling your way along, trying to work it all out, right? And it's like, and given the type of person both you and I are, we want to work with these people, you do the very best for people. And in business, sometimes that doesn't always go the way that we want it to go. And I know that you've had this kind of pivotal moment too in the last little while that made such a difference to you, like now, knowing exactly what it is that you're going to take a stand for, knowing how you're going to stand firm. See, this is cool.
They're recording. Sorry.
Totally okay. That's what it's all about. It's kids, it's family, it's life. I totally get it. Hi, kids. So, it is about all of that. And it is about, family. It's about how do you incorporate everything that you do so that your family, your kids can come and give you a hug and a kiss, even if you are on a live show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Tell us what happened there, Cass, because I know it was like big.
Yeah. Oh, so this was literally, 2020 was hard for everybody. And it was just one of those things where it's like, when our business was rolling along, we had launched the coaching program for Amplify. And then when COVID hit, there were so many businesses who needed to get online fast. Like, the agency part of our business started getting like carrying the bulk of the weight, which, Tracy, like for agency wise, like when you're in agency work, everything else sort of takes a back seat. And that hurt, right? And even though you have, your small little baby systems that are growing with your company, like it keeps breaking. And on top of all of that, in the summer, what was left of Adam's brain tumor developed into cancer. So he had to have another surgery, which brought me to the massive realization that I had built a company that was 100% reliant on me, because a business partner who was like, don't book any more clients. We can't take any more clients. I need, you're going to need to be out. And it was hard. It was hard. We skirted by and we maintained the clients that we have, and they got incredible results. But it was hard and it was difficult. And it also gave me time for reflection, to realize I was the one who made it hard and difficult, right? Because when you're an agency owner and when you start out as a solopreneur and you start to grow your business, you get really good at a lot of things, and you notice patterns and you see problems and you can solve them quickly for other people. And you all of a sudden, if you're not careful, you start to be all things. Not necessarily, I mean, we had a niche. We only served impact driven entrepreneurs who wanted to scale their business. So, we had a niche, but did they want to launch a challenge? All right, let's do it. Did they want to build a lead generation funnel? Okay, we can do that. Do you want to create a summit? Yeah, let's do that. I can consult on anything, right? And that was sort of like the double-edged sword of being a coach within 2CCX, is all of a sudden I had a roster of 100 people in any different business that were literally, I'm on several 20-minute calls a day, mapping out their strategy, mapping out their launches, consulting them on their next steps, their next moves in business. So you get to be really good, but it doesn't mean that there is one process to follow, one lane to own. And that was the thing that really hit me upside of the head this summer when Adam had to go have surgery again. And so literally just in December, we took a step back and we invested in ourselves. We invested in a coach. We invested in someone that was going to hold us accountable for actually tearing down our business and streamlining to focus on one thing. And that one thing that we decided on focusing was the one thing that was my saving grace, that I was really good at, that I never realized I was really, really good at. And that was creating premium offers and selling premium offers. But I never thought of myself as a high ticket type salesperson. I was just solving really big problems, and I was not making that offer to people that I didn't know I could solve the problem quickly. So we created a system to really find the biggest problem, to create a high value solution in the shortest, simplest way, which created more value for the clients that we work with. Because let's face it, as impact driven entrepreneurs, we're going to jump through hoops and bend over backwards anyway, right? Mm-hmm. So when we solve these big problems and we do them simply and quickly, it's of a higher value to our clients, and it's easier to make those 10K offers. So that was our program. That's what we launched literally in January. And yesterday I just closed 30K in sales for it. But the thing that I'm the most proud isn't the amount of sales that we closed in one day. It was that I did it my way. That I did it by teaching people you can be authentic. You don't have to be everything to everybody. You can care about the results for your clients. You can care about the experience that you create for them. And you can choose. It doesn't have to be $1 million business. If all you want is a 6-figure business or a 500K business, you choose the definition of success, not anybody else. You choose how many hours you work, you choose how many clients you work with, and you choose what problems you solve. And that was sort of my second light bulb. And part of our process is called lightning in a bottle, because that is the magic that happens when you meet your client that has this unique problem and you can create this solution it feels effortless to you, right? Which is why typically impact-driven entrepreneurs underprice their solutions and their services and their consulting and coaching. But when that little, bolt of electricity happens, everyone is happy. They love it. The client is happy. You love it because you get to work with people that light you on fire and that are just honestly a joy to work with. So it's a win-win-win situation.
I love that. And I love the fact that, have again, often, we go through these, the journey of life. We learn lots of different things, and like I just talked about on another show, you kind of get to these crossroads constantly, and you're constantly then making a decision, which way will I go? And sometimes we think, oh, what I just, all that work that I just did was for nothing. But in fact, it actually brought you to that point where you're now able to step over and take the next leap into
Yeah.
the next journey and chapter of what you're doing. And that's essentially what's happened, right? And now,
Yeah.
you're sitting in this really comfortable, happy, prosperous place where you feel really good about what it is that you're doing. You've been able to stand up for yourself and say, well, actually, this is truly what I need to do. But
Yeah.
not only just recognizing that you want to take a stand with that, the next piece of this, which I think a lot of people miss, is the taking the action part. We
Hmm.
get stuck in the I know, and then we never act. Hang on, we're back. Take
Yeah.
action on it, and start moving forward. Start moving forward with, as you say, with intention. Move forward with intention and by design, so that whatever it is that you're creating in your life, you're creating it on purpose, not
Hmm.
just kind of meandering through and hoping that somebody else will take care of us. Because as you mentioned before, with no point sitting back waiting for somebody else to say, hey Cass, you're actually really good at that. You should do that. It's like
Yeah.
knowing that, hey, I am darn good at that, and now I'm going to go do it.
Yeah.
So, in terms of like you standing firm, I'm keen to sort of unpack the values of KACI. So, what does it mean to you to, like, now that you're standing up for something and
Hmm.
yourself? What are the principles that you stand firm on,
Yeah.
and why is that important to you?
Yeah, yeah. I think the best way for me to illustrate this is one of the things that we teach in our program. It's an acronym that is BRAVE. And for each letter, I'll just go through it. Like B is you believe that you 100% are the absolute best solution that you have to create for this client. So it's like your belief, like you have to have the belief in yourself and the solution that you create. And the R is you come real, like you can realistic, good, bad, or ugly. This is how it's going to be. And I think the biggest thing that I learned in the beginning was that failure was a data point. Failure was almost like that secret entry point to getting to where you wanted. It wasn't going to come easy. No one was going to hand it to you. But that reality of just knowing that, you know, who you are at your core isn't going to change, and the person that you are, and it goes right into the next letter. A is like authentic. You show up authentically in every conversation, in every marketing piece, in every coaching program. Like it doesn't matter if the camera's on or the camera is off. Like this is who I am, and that's the way I teach. It's fine if you're shy, it's fine if you're quirky, it's fine if you could be a little boisterous. Like it doesn't matter. You don't have to be anybody else but yourself. And when you live in that lane, like so many people, they share about imposter syndrome or like self-doubt and all of this type of stuff. But when you live in the lane of 100% authenticity, and to be able to say, you know what, I'm scared, but I'm doing it anyway. And that takes us right into the V part of it, is that vulnerability. Like
Mhm.
I realized that the most impactful stories that I shared with our clients were the ones where I failed, were the ones where it was like, oh man, if anybody found out this, like they may look at me differently. They may judge me differently. Like as you can see, like earlier in the interview, like I wear my emotions on my sleeves. I'm an empath. And I used to think that was a weakness for so long. And then it was like, you know what? This is who I am. Right.
Mhm.
And it becomes a beacon, it becomes a bridge, and it becomes like a filter where it's like, when you attract and you repel, like we don't have to be ridiculous and loud, and we don't have to, throw stones and tear someone else down. We just have to stand and share in our own like mess, right? To get people to realize like it's not easy. It is difficult, but I've sort of been there and I can light the path for you. And actually like my gift and I'm really good at it. And then coming to the end of the acronym is E, and that is evolve, right? If you do all four of those pieces, you have no choice but to evolve into a new person, to a new leader, to grow into that person that you are meant to be, to serve at the level that you're called to. You will feel uncomfortable through every single stage. And that's the journey to go through, because it's like life asking you, how bad do you want it? How bad are you going to fight for it? How bad are you going to keep pushing through regardless of everything that's thrown at you? Right? That evolution is you show me one entrepreneur who reached the top that did not evolve and does not have stories of cuts and scrapes and bruises and wounds and things that they had to go through and break through to get there.
They don't exist.
Yeah.
I'm yet to meet one, Cass. I'm yet to meet somebody. And, the interesting thing is I love that philosophy that you've got around, being brave and all of those components that make up the system, or the pillars of being brave, because they're exactly that is exactly what this show also stands for. It is about being really authentic. And for so long, like you're saying, people think that I'm not good enough. I've got to try and be like KACI, or I've got to try and be like Tracy, or I've got to try and be like Tony Robbins, or whoever it is. And we try as much as we can to emulate them, when in fact that's like totally, that's a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
Where we should actually just be like, okay, I am who I am. I'm proud and I'm comfortable in my own skin. And and you mentioned earlier, to working on specific things. Number one thing I think is work on yourself. The day and the moment that I realized that, hang on a minute, this whole thing is an inside game, and I started working on myself, is the moment that things started to change. The way in which just being comfortable with who I was, realizing that, I am who I am, warts and all, the whole kit and caboodle, just bring that to the table. And that's when that kaboom, that magic starts to happen exactly then. And it takes you out of having to compete with other people, right? You're no longer
it totally changes.
You're not trying to compete with somebody else, because you don't have to, because that's when you're unique and you're being authentically you, there's nobody else that can be that. So I love everything that you're talking about in terms of that whole brave, the pillars of brave. In terms of like standing out now, and we've kind of alluded to this, and I think it's like I'm being authentic, but what are some of the things that you would encourage others, because we know what you're doing to really stand out in your marketplace now, but what would you encourage others who are watching today? What would you say to them to help them stand out, stand firm, and stand up, stand out, and stand firm on who they are and what they believe in?
Yeah, I think the thing that makes people stand out the most is when they are willing to stand out and they're going deeper than most people are willing to go. Like we hear a lot, like you and I are in the industry. We know the word authenticity is thrown around a lot. And I'm not saying surface level authenticity. I'm saying the stuff that's deep, where you, like, when I say this and there's a thought that pops up into your head is, oh my gosh, I hope nobody ever finds this out. That's where you got to go. That's what you have to share. That's what makes you unique and different, because everybody else is the same. Everybody else has struggles. Everybody else has things come up, but like the difference is how far are you willing to go to share and open that door into a peak to say, you know what, I don't have it all figured out. Like, I'm sure there's someone that could be watching that, could be, like, when I took the business to $1 million, like, that earned me a partnership in that business, and they won't do anything without me. And like, so I have like a really cool opportunity there. But this new business that we just literally launched in January, there's some people who are like, yeah, 30K, who cares? Big deal. Like, you know what? That for me is a big deal. Like, that is proof of concept on a new way of doing business, where I don't have to do big service contracts anymore. This is me just pouring into coaching and teaching people how to choose what their success is and to create a 6-figure business. And if they get to a certain point, they can turn the dial if they want to. And I think that's the thing, like how you stand out is the way you show up all the time, all the time, in every conversation, whether someone's going to give you money or not. I think that's going to be the biggest opportunity that a lot of people have moving forward in the industry. Social media levels the playing ground, and smoke and mirrors marketing tactics will only get you so far. But what you don't realize is when you start comparing other people who are ahead of you with multi-million-dollar businesses, well, you don't know. They're probably running on a negative profit margin, and they have a churn rate that's embarrassing low. Like, you'll never hear them talk about anything but the revenue, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's where you need to step in and be like, hey, this is where I'm at in business. This is my goal to grow. I want to take people with me. And I always tell people, like, they're always like, how do you get 1 million? How do you work with 1 million? Like, they're worried about the mass. And I would just say, like, dial it down. Like, if you can impact one, like, you can't impact 1 million until you impact one. Right. So that's what I would say. Like, what are you doing to change one life?
Absolutely, and I love that. Boy, oh boy, you read the scenes, you've been reading the books, right? But it's true. It's like I echo that. It is about changing just one life. And I mean, in Vicky Helm and I have a company that we help people produce their own shows, and we're talking about changing just one life at a time, one life per show. So if we
Yeah.
can do that, and that's all we did, we just changed one person's life, got one person to think a little bit differently, then
Yeah.
that creates that snowball effect. And before long, you're changing one, and then two, and then four, and then eight, and it's just it's that multiplier effect. And before
Yeah.
you know it, you've got to your million. But often we think we have people the same as you. They come and they want to impact millions. You have to start with just one. And I love the fact that you've gone back and you've said, okay, I can do the $1 million, but we're starting something new. And I've got some a new set of goals that I've got right now. And my measurement of success right in this moment is validation. And I'm just going to validate it. This proof of concept, is this got legs? Is it got guts for me to be able to move forward with? And can I get somebody a result? If the answer is yes, you got proof of concept. Now you've got something that you mentioned earlier. You've got a pattern. You know that you can replicate that over and over and over again. You impact one, you've now impacting three, and before you know it, it'll be 6, 12, 24, and so on and so forth. So it sounds like you're well on your way for the new concept of what you're doing to really start to hit its straps and gain some real momentum. You and me, we can talk all day about all of this stuff because it's been ages since we've caught up. But I want to leave sort of today with and give you an opportunity to share anything else that you would like to share with anyone who is watching today, because what you have been talking about is hugely impactful. And I want to make sure that your message does get amplified and that we're able to help not just one person, but we help multiple people just through today's conversation. So is there anything that you would like to leave everybody with? And I will then also ask you to share where they can have more of KACI time.
Yeah, I was thinking of something when you were like, what's the one thing? But I was in the back of my mind, but there's one more thing. In business, we're told, that you have to give the people what they want, and you do have to give the people what they want. But I think if you're watching this, then you're an impact driven entrepreneur, and everyone always says, don't sell mindset, don't sell mindset, don't sell mindset, and that's something that we realized with the premium offer. And that's why I played that angle, because for me, a premium offer creates cash flow. It creates sustainability. It creates the revenue that you need to build systems and a team around you to sustain your business. But you have to have mindset, right? And that was the one thing that we were not going to compromise in any of our programs, that we weren't going to be like, we're hiding this vegetable in here, like getting it to the kids. We are straightforward about the interchange that they have to have within themselves to really serve level and that level of commitment to communicate like with that intention and in integrity and everything that they do, because that's the same road they have to pave for their clients and for their customers. So we are all in the people business, but we are also in like that mindset business. Like, how can we champion our customers? How can we create heroes out of our clients? So I think that's the biggest thing, is it's not information. Information will not save you. Information alone will not change you. And like you said, it's the implementation, but it's also that continued inner work and that evolution of your mindset of stepping up and being bold enough to be the leader, to get uncomfortable. Like, I can handle situations now that KACI 5-10 years ago would have been like, I'm just not even going to go there. Like, because I am very non-confrontational, but at the same time, like, there's a fire that I just feel this responsibility to stand in the gap for people who need to know that it's okay, right? To do it hard, to do it messy, and it's not going to be beautiful. Like, you're going to fail, and failure, like, I don't fear that anymore. And fear doesn't go away either. I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions, where it's like, oh, once you do it, you have it all figured out. Like, no, you have new problems. You have new problems at every single level, right? So make best friends with fear. Like, give them a front row seat to what you're about to do. And then you just have a dialogue and you change the conversation, and you just tell them, watch me. Oh, I can't hear you, Trace. No, let me check on my end. Yeah, I can hear it now.
All right, I've just switched my microphone, so it might be a little bit tinny. Sorry, guys. So I was saying, exactly what KACI is saying is so true. We just need to, now that I've kind of got me sorted, is that we do need to show up. We need to be the best versions of ourselves, and things are going to be messy. And just know that you're not alone. Your mess is the same mess that a woman in the next room is having. The guy in the room next door, that direction, is still having. We all have our messes, and often we try to hide all of those, like I just did with showing you the nice part of the room over here and not the messy bed over there, because I'm in a motel room right now with you guys. But I thought I'd do you a favor. So anyway, it's just showing up and doing everything that you do in a very authentic way. That way you can always be true to yourself. You always know that you are standing in your own truth, and you've got nothing, you've got nothing to worry about. And like you say, fear never goes away, but it is just giving that fear the front row seat. Where I was going with that was, you were talking about fear, and I remembered that there was a post inside one of our groups that one of our members had put in a couple of days ago, and it said something like, when the naysayers are speaking loudly and saying all the bad things about how you can't how you can't do something, just go so far that you just cannot hear them anymore. Just keep going until the point where their noise is no longer there. You are in a completely different place. You're in your inner self. You know exactly what you stand for. You're standing firm on it, and you are starting to stand out in your own very special way. So that being said, Cass, I want to say thank you very much for being on the very first episode of our Take a Stand show with a guest. I want to thank you for your wisdom, your care, your willingness to just show up, just be who you are. You absolutely are brave, and you embody everything that acronym speaks of. And I want to thank you for doing that. I want to say to everybody else that we're going to be back again next week, Thursday, Brisbane time at 10 a.m. for another episode of Take a Stand. I'll be on here with another amazing woman who will be sharing their story, their way in which they are standing out, standing firm, and standing out in the world of business, but also doing it for the betterment of themselves, their business, their family, and their life. So that is what the show is all about. So tune in again next week. And for now, I'm going to say Thank you very much. Go out there, stand up, stand firm, and stand out, because you were born to be that way. So thanks, guys. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you back again next week.
Bye,
Bye for
guys.
now.